Welcome to Wisdom for Your Day. Sit back and get ready for some knowledge. Real people and the story behind the success. Today, Jimmy Donaldson, known globally as MrBeast, commands an empire capable of funding life-altering medical procedures. Millions watch as patients once blind step away from the operating table with their vision restored. His influence moves directly from digital clicks into physical reality, mobilizing large volunteer crews to frame houses and construct entirely new communities from the ground up. But to understand how this vast operation was built, we have to look back at a 12-year-old kid in Greenville, North Carolina. Long before the multi-million-dollar budgets, Jimmy was uploading gaming and reaction videos from his bedroom to an audience of exactly 0. For years, the channel saw almost no growth. He had virtually no financial stability and faced heavy pressure from society and his family to abandon the hobby for a traditional career path. Instead, he made the enormous gamble of dropping out of college early, leaving himself entirely without a backup plan. Where most creators would quickly burn out under that pressure, Jimmy chose a different route. He treated every failed video as a data point, turning the frustrating process of being ignored into a highly measurable science. He stopped casually making internet content and started acting like an obsessive researcher. He and a small group of friends formed a daily laboratory, analyzing exactly why certain videos worked and why most completely flatlined. They spent countless hours testing the psychology behind viewer behavior. They ran rigorous A/B tests on thumbnails, swapping colors, expressions, and keywords to capture immediate attention. This retention chart illustrates when viewers click away. Jimmy studied these curves to calculate exactly how to adjust pacing to hold their focus. He applied all of this heavy, behind-the-scenes data analysis to highly unusual concepts. He began publishing extreme, endurance-style stunts, like sitting in a chair and counting all the way to 100,000, that stood out in a crowded market. The eventual massive subscriber spike reflected a long, calculated climb, the direct result of thousands of data-driven adjustments made over years of being ignored. As the channel gained traction, he established a high-risk financial engine that allowed him to scale. Instead of keeping his early earnings, he reinvested almost 100% of his revenue straight back into high-end video production. This created an immense level of pressure. He was regularly funding increasingly large-scale giveaways and expensive stunts entirely out of pocket, completely unsure if the resulting video would generate enough views to cover the staggering costs. Behind the camera, that relentless production cycle was taking a severe human toll. Jimmy was battling extreme burnout and actively managing Crohn's disease, a chronic inflammatory condition that heavily affects energy, digestion, and health. He was forced to quietly manage these exhausting flare-ups and physical strain behind the scenes, all while appearing energetic on screen and maintaining his position at the absolute top of the industry. The foundation of the MrBeast empire relies on an extreme willingness to risk his financial security and endure deep physical exhaustion to achieve a long-term vision. That long-term vision eventually expanded far beyond entertainment. He launched sweeping philanthropic campaigns like Team Trees and Team Seas, mobilizing millions of dollars to plant forests and clean the oceans. But operating at a global scale brings intense friction. As his visibility grew, so did public scrutiny, including accusations from critics that he was performing charity purely to generate internet views. Rather than retreating or arguing online, Jimmy adapted. He focused entirely on improving his team's operations, pushing through the noise to maintain his focus on creating measurable impact. Public judgment is the unavoidable tax of global visibility. Ultimately, his legacy is defined by the tangible results his work produces, providing communities with direct access to food, clean water, and essential resources. Jimmy Donaldson's journey reflects a specific path to mastery. It required years of unnoticed effort to develop the analytical skills that now look effortless. In his case, a deep obsession with the data allowed him to eventually outproduce creators who relied on talent alone. That success also highlights a commitment to growth over comfort. By refusing to spend his early earnings on luxury and instead doubling down on his own work, he was able to reach a scale that would have been impossible through conservative spending. His career suggests that significant impact begins with an obsession and a willingness to embrace years of quiet failure. As Jimmy himself notes, the worst thing you can do is spend years doing something you don't care about. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. For more, visit us on YouTube by the same name.